There's an industry standard for sizing a generator for an application, whether residential or commercial. This standard is based on the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and it's designed to ensure the generator can supply enough power without being overloaded. The NEC dictates that a generator must be sized to supply at least 100% of the continuous load and 125% of the inrush current. The continuous load represents the total power the application draws consistently. Inrush current is the surge of power when the application starts. The 80% rule of thumb is a guideline used by distributors and installers. It suggests that the generator should be sized to supply 80% of the application's maximum load. This provides a safety margin to prevent overloading and ensure reliable operation. However, the generator output breaker might not always align with the 80% rule. This can occur due to specific application needs or the availability of generators in particular sizes. For instance, if an application has a high inrush current, the generator might need to supply more than 80% of the maximum load. To determine the appropriate generator size, it's best to consult with a licensed electrician. They can evaluate the specific requirements and recommend the correct generator size for safe and reliable operation. Now let's delve into the specifics of generator sizing according to the National Electrical Code and industry best practices. Firstly, understanding the continuous load is crucial. The continuous load is the steady-state power demand of all connected devices and appliances when they are operating simultaneously. This includes lighting, computers, refrigerators, heating or cooling systems, and any other electrical equipment that draws power consistently. To calculate the continuous load, you need to add up the power consumption typically measured in watts or kilowatts of all these devices. Secondly, inrush current, also known as starting current, is a temporary surge of power that occurs when certain electrical devices are first turned on. Devices with motors, such as air conditioners, refrigerators, and pumps, often have high inrush currents. This surge can be several times higher than the device's normal operating current. The NEC requires that generators be sized to handle this inrush current to prevent voltage dips and potential equipment damage. Thirdly, the 125% rule for inrush current, as mandated by the NEC, ensures that the generator can handle the high initial power demand of motor-driven equipment. This is especially important for commercial applications where multiple motors might start simultaneously. Sizing the generator to 125% of the inrush current provides a safety factor to prevent the generator from being overloaded during startup. Fourthly, the 80% rule of thumb is a practical guideline that helps ensure the generator is not operating at its maximum capacity for extended periods. Operating a generator continuously at its maximum output can lead to overheating, reduced lifespan, and potential failures. By sizing the generator to supply only 80% of the maximum load, you provide a buffer that allows the generator to operate more efficiently and reliably. Fifthly, there are several factors that can cause variations from the 80% rule. These include the type of equipment being powered, the frequency of motor starts, and the ambient temperature. For example, if an application involves frequent starts of large motors, the generator might need to be sized to a higher percentage of the maximum load to handle the increased inrush current. Sixthly, consulting with a licensed electrician is crucial for accurate generator sizing. Electricians have the expertise to assess the specific electrical needs of the application and recommend the appropriate generator size. They can also ensure that the generator is installed and connected according to local electrical codes and safety standards. Seventhly, generator sizing involves calculating the total power demand, considering both continuous loads and inrush currents. This calculation should also take into account any future expansion plans or anticipated increases in power consumption. Overlooking potential future needs can result in an undersized generator that cannot meet the demands of the application. Eighthly, the NEC provides specific guidelines for generator sizing in different types of applications. These guidelines address issues such as load management, transfer switches, and emergency power systems. Adhering to these guidelines ensures that the generator system is safe, reliable, and compliant with industry standards. Ninthly, load management techniques can help optimize generator sizing by reducing peak power demand. This can involve staggering the startup of large motors, using energy-efficient lighting and appliances, and implementing demand response programs. By reducing the overall power demand, you can potentially use a smaller generator, saving on upfront costs and operating expenses. Finally, regular maintenance is essential for ensuring the long-term reliability of a generator system. This includes routine inspections, oil changes, filter replacements, and testing under load. Proper maintenance can help prevent breakdowns, extend the lifespan of the generator, and ensure that it is ready to provide power when needed. Now, let's further clarify the National Electrical Code requirements. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation and operation of electrical systems. It is updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in technology and best practices. Article 700.0 of the NEC addresses emergency systems. Article 701.0 covers legally required standby systems. Article 702.0 is about optional standby systems. These articles provide detailed guidance on the installation, wiring, and sizing of generators used in these applications. Continuous load calculations are a fundamental aspect of generator sizing. To accurately determine the continuous load, you must consider all electrical devices that will be operating simultaneously. This includes lighting, appliances, HVAC systems, computers, and any other equipment that draws power on a consistent basis. It is essential to use accurate power consumption data for each device, which can typically be found in the device's nameplate or in the manufacturer's specifications. Inrush current calculations are equally important, especially for applications with motor-driven equipment. Motors can draw several times their normal operating current during startup, which can put a significant strain on the generator. The NEC requires that generators be sized to handle this inrush current to prevent voltage dips and potential equipment damage. The 125% rule for inrush current is a key requirement of the NEC. It ensures that the generator has enough capacity to handle the high initial power demand of motor-driven equipment without being overloaded. This is particularly important for commercial and industrial applications where multiple motors may start simultaneously. Understanding the types of loads is crucial for accurate generator sizing. Resistive loads, such as lighting and heating, draw a constant amount of power. Inductive loads, such as motors and transformers, draw a varying amount of power depending on their operating state. Capacitive loads, such as capacitors and electronic ballasts, can introduce power factor issues that need to be addressed. Power factor correction can improve the efficiency of the electrical system and reduce the generator's load. Power factor is a measure of how effectively electrical power is being used. A low power factor indicates that a significant portion of the power is being wasted, which can increase energy costs and reduce the generator's capacity. The 80% rule of thumb is a practical guideline that helps ensure the generator is not operating at its maximum capacity for extended periods. This provides a safety margin that allows the generator to operate more efficiently and reliably. However, it is important to note that the 80% rule is not a strict requirement of the NEC. There are several factors that can cause variations from the 80% rule. These include the type of equipment being powered, the frequency of motor starts, the ambient temperature, and the generator's deterring factor. Deterring factors account for the reduction in generator output due to factors such as altitude and temperature. Generators are typically rated for operation at sea level and a specific ambient temperature. As altitude increases or temperature rises, the generator's output capacity may decrease. Consulting with a licensed electrician is essential for accurate generator sizing. Electricians have the expertise to assess the specific electrical needs of the application and recommend the appropriate generator size. They can also ensure that the generator is installed and connected according to local electrical codes and safety standards. Load management techniques can help optimize generator sizing by reducing peak power demands. This can involve staggering the startup of large motors, using energy-efficient lighting and appliances, and implementing demand response programs. By reducing the overall power demand, you can potentially use a smaller generator, saving on upfront costs and operating expenses. Transfer switches are an important component of a generator system. They allow you to safely switch between the utility power and the generator power. There are two main types of transfer switches: automatic and manual. Automatic transfer switches automatically switch to generator power when the utility power fails. Manual transfer switches require you to manually switch to generator power. Emergency power systems are designed to provide backup power during a power outage. These systems are typically used in critical facilities such as hospitals, data centers, and emergency response centers. The NEC provides specific guidelines for the installation and operation of emergency power systems. Legally required standby systems are similar to emergency power systems, but they are not required by law. These systems are typically used in facilities such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and schools. The NEC also provides specific guidelines for the installation and operation of legally required standby systems. Optional standby systems are not required by law and are typically used in residential and commercial applications for convenience. These systems can provide backup power for lighting, appliances, and other essential equipment. Generator maintenance is essential for ensuring the long-term reliability of the system. This includes routine inspections, oil changes, filter replacements, and testing under load. Proper maintenance can help prevent breakdowns, extend the lifespan of the generator, and ensure that it is ready to provide power when needed. Regular inspections should include checking the oil level, coolant level, and battery condition. The air filter should be cleaned or replaced regularly to ensure proper airflow. The fuel filter should also be replaced regularly to prevent fuel contamination. Load testing is an important part of generator maintenance. It involves running the generator at its rated load for a specific period of time to ensure that it is operating properly. Load testing can also help identify any potential problems with the generator. Generator sizing is a complex process that requires careful consideration of several factors. By following the guidelines in the NEC and consulting with a licensed electrician, you can ensure that the generator is properly sized for your application. This will ensure that the generator is safe, reliable, and able to provide power when needed.